All right, hello. This is the playtest slash recorded just playthrough of Court of Clouds, which is currently up on our Kickstarter page. I have here two lovely members of my family who, funnily enough, have not playtested this yet. And particularly strange that my sister wasn't dragged into a playtest up until now is remarkable. We have copies of the rulebook here. These are not representative of the final copy. These are little test proof copies that we got. We're each going to have one today. Normally in a game you'd only have one, or someone would have a PDF or something like that, and we'll be talking through it. But we all have our copies today, in case you want to follow along. So, in this game, players will create and entangle a pantheon of new gods, and then tell some short stories to establish a new mythological tradition surrounding them. We first work out who our gods are, their domains, their responsibilities, what their powers are, how they relate to each other. And then we entangle them. So that'll work out who's related to who likes who doesn't like who. We determine a few truths about the wider cosmos at the end. So once we've worked out who the gods are, just some final tidy up as to the setting that we're kind of building with them. And then we end up telling some short stories, which establish their mythology. But first off, just to run across, this is page 6, the setting. In summary, the gods, they are not good people. The gods are petty. And we aren't necessarily working as a team. We are going to make a group of characters that have deep interpersonal drama. They aren't always allied. They will work against each other sometimes. They'll have grudges, etc. Stuff like that. The mortals are in their classical age. So we're thinking ancient Greek. Okay, time to make a god. Okay, so we're going to be drawing for our major domains. When you get a domain, it is assumed your god's in control of that. You expect to be consulted when your domain is used by others. So it's kind of like a territory your god rules over. And also the mortals love or hate you based on whatever domain your god gets. Sweet. To do this, we are each going to draw a card from the deck. We're going to keep it in front of us and we'll consult the respective pages. What card you draw will give you a domain, but also there'll be a question of some description linked to it. And that's when we start to get a bit creative. Because yes, there's a thing locked in, you are god of X, but also the question will be like, but how does that fit that setting? And so that's how we start to world build together. Okay, so, Rach, do you want to draw the first domain for your character?
Do I have to tell you what it is?
Yes, please tell me the card.
I got a 7 of diamonds.
7 of diamonds. Which, if we look
Death.
at...
Woo!
A good solid start. You are the god of death. You have 2 mini questions attached to it. How is a person judged when their life is over? And what person's mechanisms or evidence are involved in that judgment? So in this case, like the one I was going for when I brought this out was the Egyptian, where the heart is weighed against a feather. But what creative way would you judge a person when their life is over?
I feel like it's got to have something to do with their purpose in life, their business, because I feel like ghosts often hang around because they've got unfinished business. Their life's purpose isn't fulfilled. So I guess they're judged upon their death as to whether or not they have fulfilled their purpose, or whether or not they need to return as spectral forms to have unfinished business. In terms of what person's mechanisms or evidence are involved in that judgment, I would say that this god of death probably sits on a panel. And a death panel, yes, and they evaluate each case-by-case basis as people die.
It's like stupid deaths.
Yeah, yeah. They have a good laugh afterwards as, to the way people die. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. All right.
Can the man from Stupid Deaths be on the panel?
Of course.
Yes.
So in this case, if they have unfinished business left to do, they get sent back as a ghost. Is that the implication?
Yes.
Fantastic. Love it. All right, I'll draw my first. Okay, it is the 5 of spades. I'm either the god of dreams or nightmares. I'm going to go with dreams because we've already got a bit of an edgelord theme over here. So I'm going to go with the god of dreams. And my question, what circumstances can cause a mortal to have prophetical or magical dreams? Prophetic or magic dreams? What circumstances? I'm going to say when they sleep after a near-death experience. So they've had like a run-in that's like close to that edge. Maybe they should have died, and that night they kind of get a glimpse. It's a little maybe like outside time. They can see kind of like the threads of fate maybe are so close to them that they can see a bit of the future.
Well, they were very nearly then being judged by the god of death. They
Yeah.
were near-death experiences.
So they have a near-death experience and then they have some kind of a dream.
Yeah.
And
So
is the dream prophetic, like it
yes.
does in the future?
So it's kind of like, here's your reward for like
Not dying.
for not dying. Yeah, but there's like a definite cost. And so that also means that if someone is trying to game the system, so someone is trying to have a prophetic dream,
Oh, they
Then
almost try to die.
they have to absolutely run the gambit.
Oof.
All right, the
We've got
Jack.
us. Or Jack.
Yeah, nah, that's
Not
okay.
Joker.
So you are the god of hunting.
What is the most heavenly beast and what does its successful hunter receive? Heavenly beast. Should it be something? Okay, but if I pick something that's like really easy to catch and everyone's hunting them all the time, like that could be kind of funny.
It could be.
Like rabbits or something.
Yeah, just like.
I don't know, would it be rabbits in ancient Greece? They wouldn't have rabbits over there. What would they have had? Like,
I assume it would have had rabbits of some variety. Rabbits get everywhere, don't they?
eventually.
Does it have to be connected to the, are we in Greece? Is this a specific
No,
country?
not necessarily. So it just
in that
says,
time period,
yeah. So
roughly.
the setting is the mortals live near the sea and live on an Earth-like planet.
Okay.
So
Maybe it could like hunting some kind of sea creature if we live near the sea.
Everyone's just fishing.
we make it an internal joke. It's the rainbow fish. Like you have to catch the rainbow fish.
Oh man. Okay. No, I actually do think I want to do rabbits. I want to do something that's like obscenely simple. Like everyone's just has like a million snares in their backyard trying to get this heavenly beast. And then, what does its successful hunter receive?
Sustenance.
A solid thumbs up.
Is it a specific rabbit though? Like, is it like one that's like the white rabbit, and they're all like trying to get that one?
The jackalope.
Or is it like literally
It's
any
literally
rabbit?
any rabbit.
any rabbit.
Wow,
It's
you're going to be a
fine.
very beloved god if the reward is good.
Yeah.
Unless the reward sucks, and then people don't want to catch the rabbits.
But then would you refer to it as a heavenly beast? I guess so.
Well, I
Maybe
guess
it's like a backhanded compliment.
Well, it could be like a you hunted my heavenly beast. Like this
they're
is my
protected.
my protected species is the rabbit, and you killed them by accident.
Oh, true.
We can give you time and loot back.
Yeah, one time.
Fantastic.
I'm thinking about rabbit ghosts with their unfinished business, just hopping around the
Hundreds of
place.
Fantastic. Okay, so now we all have one major domain. Guess what? We get to do it again. So in this case, we don't just become the god of one thing, you'll become the god of death and something else.
Ooh. Death and the 2 of spades. Two. Death and monsters.
Death and monsters.
Oh yeah.
You're really good coded, aren't you?
Just make the ghosts make more sense now.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, where did the monsters come from? A deliberate creator, another world, or a magical accident? Ooh. I really like in Greek mythology how like Echidna is like the mother of monsters.
Nice, yeah.
Like she kind of invents them and then kind of creates them a little bit. I like that, and I think my god could kind of be like the mother or father of monsters, but they're kind of reactions to things that people have done.
Okay.
So maybe like as soon as people were like, we can go on the water, we have ships now, I create like big sea monsters, etc. Gets more people to die.
Nice.
So I
You're insider trading.
get to sit on more councils and judge people's deaths.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
See? My economy of death.
Perfect. So in this case, a deliberate creator from you.
Yes.
In reaction to the activities of mortals. Awesome. All right, my second is the Ace of Spades. I'm not only the god of dreams, but I'm also the god of magic or profane power.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes, yeah, it's all coming to bruises. I'm going to be the god of magic, dreams, and magic. And my question is, through what study or skill can a mortal control such powers? Through what study or skill? I think because it's kind of linking it to the dreams thing, maybe it's a very meditative practice. It's very kind of, you appear disconnected or asleep or ascended. And so it's very much a spellcaster is always like not quite lotus position, but is like at rest, eyes closed, tranquil, and that's when the magic is out working in the world. And so it's a meditative practice.
And then what is the magic? Is the magic more kind of prophecy?
I think given that we locked in that to have prophetic dreams, you had to have that close to death business. I think maybe it's illusions, because magic and dreams, like dreams being the illusionary property. So I think you can cast illusions by kind of putting yourself in a meditative stance and then forcing your dream out onto the world.
Mm. I mean, you could meditate for long enough that you dehydrate, and then you have a prophetic dream anyway, because you were having a near-death experience.
Yeah, so maybe there's monks
who just meditate for too long.
Push themselves to the absolute brink in order to force their prophecies. It's pretty metal, actually.
So our version of like our oracle are just monks who don't eat or drink for a very long time and just sit and meditate.
Hectic. I love it.
Nice.
Then you send monsters to kill them.
I send monsters to stop them mid-meditation. Or to kill them.
Yes.
And then I deal with them afterwards. And then they have their unfinished business to go back and keep meditating. Anyway.
Well, then they become the ghosts, don't they? So I guess the question is, how much can the ghost affect the world? Are these...
That's true.
Like, poltergeists can move things around ghosts, or are they banging on the walls of reality?
Well, they'd need to be able to complete their unfinished business. So they'd have to be able to affect reality in some way. And maybe that's what the mortals think of as, like, magic. Because, you know, maybe they don't know that ghosts exist.
Ecosystem.
It's all working together.
Joyous. Alright.
I came up with my rabbit thing. Basically, I'm going to create a drug problem for the world.
Fantastic.
Because, the rabbits are the divine creature, the heavenly beast, and if you catch it and eat the heart raw, you'll have like a moment of divine inspiration. And so you just have like this like...
epic high.
Yeah, basically an epic high. And so like some people, basically like psychedelics, if you use them well, they can be like a moment of, you know, set you on the right path in your life. Alternatively, it can be like heroin, and and you just like, you're fucked for life. You're addicted. People have like 50 of these snares in their backyards, just like needing their next fix.
And what I kind of love about this is that...
If you become the god of like medicine or something, it's going to be so funny.
But also because it's hunting, like you couldn't farm this. So like a farmed rabbit, at least in my mind, wouldn't count. It has to be like a wild caught rabbit.
You have to be... Like, I think someone could farm them for themselves. So like you can have 50 snares in your backyard, but you have to have set the snare and you have to cut the rabbit open and you have to like rip out its heart and eat it.
But could
so
you?
You just got
so if you had rabbits
bloody...
breeding in like a field, and then you let the rabbits out at the snares, that's kind of like cheating in a way? Like, is it you determine as the god of hunting which rabbits go into which snares, so you're kind of deciding who's becoming drug addicts?
So
In
I,
this
Yeah,
world?
okay. I was thinking about this aspect of the farming. No, I do want it to be a wild rabbit. Like I want it to be like the way that people go fishing.
yeah.
Except that fish also get farmed in vats and stuff. So
Because I love the aesthetic of this drug-addled, like fixer, but like out on the edge of society with like the pelts hanging off them and being like, no, I'm going between all of my snares and I've planted all over this ridge, like
And they're just like ripping into these
yeah,
rabbits without even cutting them open. Just
very like berserker, like
Gollum.
yeah,
Gollum
yeah,
that
very
fish.
Gollum.
okay, maybe to mitigate the farming, because yeah, I really don't want the farming aspect, and that's going to be so easy to fall into. It has to be a wild rabbit, and you have to catch it with your hands.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
And so people can farm them, but in order for them to get this divine inspiration moment, they can farm them, but they have to release them into the woods and then chase after them. Like it has to be a rabbit that has been wild for a period of time.
Nice. Yeah, so you can increase the rabbit population in an
Yes.
area by like effectively making a safe place for them to breed.
Yes.
But then you have to get the inspiration, you have to go out and grab them with your hands.
Yes.
So a drug den is a place where a rabbit breeder lets out a rabbit so the addict can come in and chase it.
And then
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
got, like,
Effectively like reserves of like
Yeah.
yeah.
hectic. Hectic. I love it.
These poor rabbits.
It's going to be an epidemic.
Surely I invent some monster that is like a giant rabbit or something.
Either that or something that looks exactly the same as a rabbit.
Oh my gosh.
Like killer rabbit style.
Like a
Looking
mimic.
for
Like they go and they
page
grab the
11.
rabbit and the rabbit turns into some kind of mimic and eats their hands.
Nice.
8 of Hearts is royalty or authority. Who is at the top of the mortal hierarchy? A royal, a high priest, an oracle, or a demigod? I feel like I don't really understand enough about politics to be able to pick one of these and understand the repercussions.
So just go with your gut.
I mean, I could go for a Lord Ruler moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
OP demigod.
Yeah, great. Put an OP demigod at the top.
Yeah.
Now, are you the god of royalty or authority? Because you've still got a choice to make between those two as well.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say a god of royalty. Because then I can have like a Queen of Hearts vibe with the Heavenly Beast being a rabbit.
Nice. Yeah. Cool. So, you've got the god of hunting and royalty. I'm the god of dreams and magic. And Rach is the god of death and monsters. We're going to deal one card for this particular playthrough. This is going to be a non-player god. So this is another member of the Pantheon, but they're not like a big deal. This is even going to be important later for entanglement. So if we don't want to entangle two of our characters, there's kind of like another option in play. So a kind of a minor god in our court will be the god of the promised lands or deserts. Do we have a preference?
Well, Promised Lands I feel like fits more with our kind of prophetic
That
world
is
that
true.
we live in.
So
And
god
we're right now, we're like a water-based community.
Mhm.
Deserts just like seem like they wouldn't have much to do.
True. So in which case, the god of the promised lands is also someone who we could potentially link to in future. We don't have to answer their question, they just exist as part of our court. Okay, I'm going to grab all the cards, I'm going to put them back in the deck, because we now have a choice. You'll notice that you have space for 2 major domains, you also have a space for 1 minor. This is optional, so you don't have to. Minor domains are small, dumb things. So it's kind of like...
So we have to do it because it's going to be more fun.
Yeah, and bearing in mind, with any prompt in this game, you can just like, oh, actually, I don't want that. Like after you draw it, you go, doesn't quite fit. I'm going to reject the prompt. That is always perfectly valid as a response. Okay, Rach, would you like a minor domain for your character? And if so,
Yes.
draw a card.
And I hope it is something completely opposite to Death and Monsters, because that would be really funny.
So what happens if it's one that's like if she pulls hunting?
She can't on the minor domains because they're completely separate.
Oh,
Table.
okay.
A piece of clothing. I'm gonna go with like hoods.
Nice.
That's
Death, monsters, and
very
hoods.
Grim Reaper. Death, monsters, and hoods. Hoodies, if you will.
Very good. I dreams, magic, and debts or promises, which is pretty decent. I'm going to go with debts, just because it's the most different to the ones I already have. I think it probably plays in with the if we've got these monasteries where these monks are meditating to dehydration, these could also be like the money lenders in society. Like those temples could have a double purpose.
All the people who are paying drug lords to release rabbits for them as well. Like they're going to be in a lot of debt.
Yes, yeah. And so these could be like places of safety or even like life debt, etc. Run from potentially these locations. All right. You get a joker. So I'm looking at page 22, which is where the minor domain joker comes in. So Miss Manager, draw another card and consult the major domains. You also have this domain, but you are very bad at managing it, and you would like to pass on the responsibility. You may answer the question posed, but keep in mind this domain has been mismanaged when determining your answer. If a god at the table already has this domain, then you share the responsibilities and are inherently a thorn in their side.
Swamps or forests? Man, you're not looking after them. You're the goddess of the hunt, and you're not looking after the forests where the rabbits live.
Yeah. Is this biome generally sacred, or is it home to an important spiritual force?
It is. It's home to your spiritual rabbits.
Yes, my forests are mismanaged. Oh, what would that really mean? Does that mean the rabbits are rampant, or like, then does that just mean that the population of people is so much more cracked down? So I've just drugged our whole society.
Well, like it's rampant not just in the human, like mortal population, but it's so vastly altered the ecosystem.
If a
Or
predator,
in the other way.
sorry, if a predator animal caught a rabbit with its hands and ate its heart, would it get a high?
Yes.
Awesome.
So there's a bunch of
because
there's
it's
a
so
bunch
much
of,
fun
like-
inspiration. There's like a new species that is like gaining heaps of intelligence and like evolving their species way faster, but they're also cracked out. It's like limitless.
The wolves are too clever now because
Yeah.
they keep catching rabbits.
bunch of cracked out wolves.
Or in the other way, the forest is like overtaking civilization, and people just have like trees going way too fast through their living room, and so like
Oh yeah.
everyone's living in a weird degree of poverty, no matter how much money they have, because the forest is just destroying everything. The rabbits are everywhere, and everyone's cracked out, and they're like tree-ridden
They
hovels.
have lots of wood.
It's true. All right, which one is it? Are they mismanaged in a bad way, as in like there's not much forest left, or are they going gangbusters?
They're going gangbusters.
Fantastic. Forests are everywhere. Overgrowing.
Yep.
And it kind of makes sense in a world where either the population is spaced out through your stuff or spaced out through my stuff with dreams, magic, and like the illusions. That the standard kind of walls of civilization are being breached.
It was a name generator.
There is.
Oh, that's the hardest part of any game, is figuring out what your name is. So I'm glad there's a name generator.
Page 23. Okay, step 5, names. Players give both their gods and collaboratively the non-player gods, so that god of the Promised Lands, names and physical descriptions. Players can use this table to devise their name. So we've got a big table here. You'll notice there's lots of X's. The point is that you replace the X at the start of your name with the starting letter of one of your domains. If there's two X's, you replace it with the first letter and the first vowel of one of your domains. And if there's an X at the end, that allows you to use, I've used the Italian system here, for A for feminine, O for masculine, E for gender neutral for your name. You'll also notice in that little purple box, there is a way to randomize your gender. And so if you want to draw a card to determine whether you're a he, him, she, her, they, them, or esoteric fluid unknowable in terms of your gender presentation.
Nice.
Which I'm going to do, and we can kind of do this in whatever order or at the same time. But I'm certainly going to draw for gender. For me, a black card, I'm feminine.
I am also feminine.
Excellent work.
I am a joker.
Which is annoyingly not on there, so that's a mistake. But they would probably be under the ace as well. So esoteric fluid or unknowable gender.
Now we draw for a name.
Yeah.
I have the King of Spades, which is Ricilian, with potentially Moricilian or Deracilian or Whoricilian. Okay, I'll have to think about that.
Very good. I've got the ace of diamonds. Okay. So Avadni is it's Movadni or Drovadni. Movadni, I think I'm going to go for. Movadni.
Haties? Or rarities? I think Haties.
Haties? Yes. I'm just going to draw some for our NPC character. The NPC character is a feminine, and they have the name Pakar. And you made a decision, Rach?
Yes, Moricillin.
Moricillin. I am Mavadni. And you are Haertes, or Haertes. Now, thinking about physical presentation, what do our gods look like? Both in kind of like their reality and maybe to the mortals. Anyone have any starting off ideas?
Lots of red.
Lots of red. Going with the Queen of Hearts vibe.
Yeah, I'm in between royalty and hunting and the whole being the god of cracked out, blood-drenched addicts.
Nice.
Red.
Do you look like resplendent, or are you kind of representing that kind of like cracked out energy in some way in your physical form as well?
I think I want to represent the cracked out energy.
So a little bit monstrous as well.
I'm going to be dressed so fine because I'm the god of royalty, so
Yeah.
I've got like royal, noble, noble them's clothing.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I've got a little bit of like tweaker energy to me.
Nice. Cool. I think Mavadni, because the magic is illusory, I think she's gorgeous. Like, I think it's very much like she's... But there's a query as to whether that's what she actually looks like or that's just the illusion she presents. But dreams and magic, I think, of the... Just so that there's a counterpoint to the two of you, like, Mavadni is kind of like the beacon of civilization one, so it's like the robes and the quite like stately poses, given that god of debts as well. Like, if there's one thing trying to hold civilization together, it's like these monasteries that are trying to rise above this nonsense. And maybe like produce prophecies of a hopeful future, like trying to find enlightenment via a more natural means, maybe.
There's nothing more natural than the blood of rabbits.
Yeah. Maybe a less violent means then. Violence to self as opposed to violence to nature and then the consuming Because I imagine that because it has to be eaten raw as well, the heart, doesn't it? So it's very much catch and like direct.
If you caught like 10 rabbits on one day, could you just like save the hearts? So like,
No, they gotta be
you got straight away.
It's the same as like any kind of food, you know, it loses its nutrition and nutrient value and whatever else it might be in it over time. It just gets weaker. So if you've got like a several day old rabbit heart that you've attempted to store, like it's going to be half strength, you know.
No, so you can kind of store it, but it sucks.
It does suck. It's just not worth it.
Very cool.
It's a waste of the effort it took to hunt it.
Sweet. So we have finely dressed but tweaker energy Hayotes, Mavadni, glorious and resplendent and trying to hold on to civilization. And what does Morricillian look like?
Morricillian has a giant hood, obviously.
I figured that was coming.
I'm the god of hoodies.
Feels like
No, I'm not going full Grim Reaper. But the hood is like always covering the face, like it's a stupidly large hood. So no one actually knows what Morricillian's face looks like.
with like the point, like it's like a really long hood with the point touching the ground as you walk.
Yeah, sure.
Boss.
And then like probably the people depict her as like pregnant most of the time because she's like a mother of monsters. And so, you know, if they have the kind of Egyptian style of like being side on and then carvings or whatever, she always looks like she's pregnant. I don't think the actual goddess would look like that.
No.
I think she just looks like she's wearing a giant monk robe with a giant black hood with a tail that touches the ground.
Nice.
Yes.
And sitting on your council of death.
I actually think everyone on the council has hoods that cover their faces, but they don't have the tails that touch the ground. They're not quite as
You have the
grand
grandest
as mine. I have
hood.
the best hood ever. They have hoods that aspire to be as good as my hood.
And they also have to pay tax if they want to wear a hood.
Of course.
Forming the court. Entanglement phase. The gods are entangled in a network of relationships, complexities, and secrets that fills their world with drama. In this phase, players will discover how their gods are connected for good or ill. This may include family ties, but will also include rivalries, motivations, and items of envy. Some of the prompts can be contradictory, confusing, or undesirable. Once again, you can dismiss a prompt if you don't want one. These prompts will often direct players to choose another god at the table. This means the player chooses another character to become bonded to. It needs to be with the consent of the other player, so they have to okay it. And remember that we have Pakar, the NPC, if we want to kind of like join that way, as opposed to join with someone else here. Cool. So, step 1. Collect cards. Each player will draw from the deck until they have collected one card of each suit. They also collect any jokers they draw while in this process. They shuffle any spares back into the deck immediately afterwards. Sweet. So, what's going to happen now is we're going to start, so we don't go around the table with this, we kind of bounce around. We're going to start with diamonds, and we go from the highest ranking diamond down. So,
I have 10 diamonds. You got the
Jack. Okay, so this is bonds. You were once a mortal or a demigod, but you ascended to godhood. What other chosen god at the table helped your ascension?
I'm going to say you with dreams and magic, seeing as I've tapped into divine inspiration with the nonsense that I've promoted. So,
sweet.
Yes.
So I helped you ascend. And then if we've then come to loggerheads, there's been I've helped you ascend, but then something's gone terribly wrong.
Yeah.
We'll also notice that underneath it says add the ascension of X to the story list. So I have here a sheet which is the story list. We're going to collect some titles of some stories we could tell later. So in this case, we know that I helped you ascend, but we don't know the story behind it. So that is a potential story we could tell.
Okay, over to the 10 of diamonds.
You are the parent / origin of another chosen god at the table.
And then the question is, who is the other parent, or how did your child come into being?
Mm-hmm. I feel like, in the words of Star Wars, there was no father.
Yep, great.
I feel like, because I birth monsters, I
You
feel
do,
like I just
yep.
birthed the god or goddess.
Excellent.
And what kind of relates the most? Because if I birthed you, you started as a demigod or like a mortal, and then you grew to godhood. So,
Well, I could be birthed as a demigod if that.
yeah, you could have. So I feel like
Are monsters mortal? That's the question.
Maybe
But I definitely
started as a monster.
am the most monstrous god on this table.
that's what I fear, because I feel like you're too nice to be my kid.
Mm-hmm.
Promised lands, but also you sound like the two of you should be married. Like you sound like you're the nice gods, and we're the kind of crazy ones.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I feel like I would be your parent.
Nice.
And yeah, whether or not you started as a mortal, a monster, or a demigod, up to you. I like the idea that you started as a monster.
Yeah. And then
like you grew so monstrous that I was like, and you helped, like obviously because that's the story.
Yeah.
Became god of your own domains.
Or I thought I could rehabilitate. You were like, I've introduced this truly horrendous monster to the world. Like, no. She can be, like, we can help.
Let her be goddess of the forest. They'll do a great job.
Everything went poorly that day. Excellent work. All right, and I'm on 8. You are the sibling of another chosen god at the table. As siblings, are you in a rivalry or an alliance? I think you're right. I'm going to become a sibling to Picard.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'm going to say we're in an alliance. So I think there is this sense of, with the Promised Lands and me trying to look into the future, I think there is this sense between the two of us that, like, the world has gone topsy-turvy now, but we can get somewhere else. If we can find the utopic island of plenty, we can save people, basically. And so Takar is my sister.
Wait, well, other than you, the rest of us are feminine, aren't we?
Yeah.
Wow, a very feminine pantheon.
We are. So that's all of our bonds done. We're over to hearts now. Who has the highest ranking heart?
Like 7.
Ooh, over here again.
Oh, sorry, no, 3.
Okay,
7.
so you are going to choose a god that this sentence relates to. You are in a friendly competition with them.
I don't know if my god can be friendly. He's too cracked out for kindness, you know.
You're in a friendly competition with someone, or you can deny the prompt.
Yeah, I think I have to deny it. I think my character just wants to win too bad. Like,
Perfect.
anything that they try, they will come at it with 100% cracked out energy.
Fantastic. Flip it over. It's done. And so still technically a choice made, and still think we've learned about you, or you've doubled down on. And so even rejecting a prompt is a prompt. Okay. Over to me for 7 of hearts. Choose a god that this sentence relates to. You greatly desire one of their possessions. When the chosen player receives their club card, it will also indicate the gift or boon you greatly desire.
It's my hoodie, isn't it?
Well, I guess we'll work it out, but I am going to say that I desire something of yours.
Ooh.
What that is remains to be seen, but yes, I greatly desire one of your possessions.
The other god is, they are the eternal elemental opposite, a rival force of nature. Choose a god that this relates to. How does this connection affect how you treat each other? I feel like we work together, so it can't be you.
I don't know whether you would have birthed your...
My rival.
Yeah, your eternal elemental opposite.
Well, I mean, if I'm darkness and you're lightness,
Yeah, we can establish.
it makes sense.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
We can.
You're also the god of death, and Picard is the god of promised lands. Like, that kind of promised land seems healthy and vibrant and alive. That's also an option.
And if the promised land is a place free of monsters or something,
It's true.
yeah, right. Screw you.
Picard.
Car.
And it makes sense then maybe why kind of like I desire one of your possessions, etc. Because you are the elemental opposite of my sister. Because Picard's my sibling. So your question was, how does this connection affect how you treat each other?
Well, Bakar is forbidden from wearing hoodies. That's just
That's
just a straight up rule.
That's a given.
It's a given, and I am not allowed to go to I'm not allowed to put monsters in the promised land.
Nice. So there's kind of like an accord, an agreement. a set
Except
of
she
rules.
really wants to wear hoodies.
And you
Because
really
who
want
wouldn't? And I really want to put monsters in the promised land. So that's why we don't like each other.
So the minute that Picard raises her hood, you know that like, oh,
I'm just
no.
like, oh, I'm sending so many monsters in.
I love how disproportionate that is. Like,
Hey,
you wear a hood, I get to blight this
You're
entire
underestimating how good the hood is.
The good of the hood.
The good of the hood.
Yeah, nice.
If you have a bad hair day, no one knows.
It's true. Okay, moving over to gifts. So this is on page 33. So who's got the highest one? I think I've got a 5. I think I'm actually the
Yes.
I
top.
have. Oh wait, no, an ace is at the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm counting aces as ones in this. So, for 5, tales of your exploits are the ones most sung by bards and poets. What about you makes you appealing or fascinating to mortal artists? Easy.
Dreams. Magic and dreams. It makes sense.
Like, not only like the illusions of, and kind of I think that connects with bards, like that sense of like making mystique, but also I think hope. Like I think like in a world where kind of if it's compared to you two, I think there is this sense of like Mavadni's deeds are held up because they're the stories that people want to hear around the fire. Like they'll come away from a world which is like overrun with monsters and madness, and they want the escapist is tell us of the god of magic who could save us. All right, what's 3?
I feel like the crackheads that are inspired by my doings would also be led towards you because they're having so many cracked out dreams and inspirations.
Definitely, yeah.
So I feel like I've probably soured your influence a little bit.
There's like 2 ways to the same thing. It's like any religion. Like people will come to it like here's some genuine adherents over here, and here's some people come to it for like the wrong reasons or like different reasons that they're all meeting in the middle, but you're bringing different energy to the fireside.
Yeah.
I am wealthy beyond measure.
Nice.
Makes sense.
And I desire your wealth.
Ah, that could be what you want because you're poor by comparison. I hoard hoodies, obviously. No.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously hoard hoodies. No, I think I would also hoard all the like belongings of the heroes who try to fight my monsters and die fighting my monsters. So I've got like the equivalent of like I don't know Hercules' spear and like someone's shield and like helmets and all that kind of cool stuff. I've got like a death museum of like
awesome
all these items, and I've got like a hoodies museum as well for all my hoodies.
I love the idea that like the Council of Death takes place in your death museum.
Of course.
And so like the souls have to walk by like here are all of the remnants of your past heroes that I've collected. Now you have to justify that your work on Earth is done before the council. Just as an absolute flex.
And if they get to die, they get a hoodie.
Nice. So yeah.
So that's heaven. Is you get a hoodie.
I guess that all the ghosts maybe also have like the hoods up.
No. They don't have hoods.
No.
No.
Okay. You have to earn your hood.
You earn your hood when you've achieved your unfinished business.
It's a graduation ceremony.
It is. It's a graduation hood.
They enter with a sweater and they leave with a hood.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
nice.
Yes.
You have to like stitch it on.
With like the string of fate.
Yeah.
You know, stitch on
Ghost
hood
thread.
on. Ghost thread. Love it.
Okay. And the ace.
I am bound to an artifact or totem where it goes, I go, what is this artifact and why am I bound? add the binding / unbinding of X to the story list. I'm thinking that I was unhinged, and so potentially one of you has slapped me with something to like keep me in the same way as like, so you birthed me for whatever reason, and then you're both like, fuck, what have we done? and then you guys are like, maybe if we put her in a position of godhood, like we can keep her under wraps. And then that has for some reason failed a little bit, and so you've slapped me with some kind of shackle to like rein me in, but I don't know what specifically you're reining me in with or because of. But this is my idea.
Good, because it's gone, like, because the forests have gone ballistic, basically, and, like, civilization is being overrun. I wonder with royalty, like, we could bind you into, like, a crown or something like that.
Yeah, I was thinking...
Where the crown goes, you go.
Yeah, I can't take it off.
And we add something to the story list again. And so really, it is your choice as to whether this story will be about the binding or the unbinding. Implying that we could tell the story about like how you broke free of the crown, or we tell the story about how to put you in the crown.
I feel like how you put me in the crown is probably more thematically consistent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Binding of Heyotes. It's all about you at the moment. Ascension of and then the binding of.
Hey, well, we were all a part
I've just
of
been really havoc.
both stories.
It's
so
true.
I am the key antagonist at this point. But also, why do I need to decide exactly why I've been bound at this point, or just the fact that I am bound to a crown and you guys put me in it?
I think we put you in it, and it was because of like mistakes you were making. It was a way for us to limit your power. I think, what you've already decided.
Yeah.
It's probably enough for the moment, because we can tell the story later if we want to get more into detail. All right. Lastly, over to drama.
You have a claim on the heavenly throne. You may add the claim of X to the story list.
All these stories are random. It's actually just going to be your like humble origins.
Character.
It's your humble origins of being birthed, and then like how you like gained godhood. Then the like binding of you because you got too much godhood, and now it's you like fighting for your claim to like Zeus's throne.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you guys put me in this like crown or signet. You bound me because I was just unhinged and like not doing. I was doing too much of something or not enough of something. Probably too much of something.
And you got the wrong idea because we gave you a crown, and you're like, well,
gotta roll it
this
out.
is my claim to fame now.
Yeah, either that. I have an element of just like arrogance and stupidity where I'm like, well, I have a crown, so I should therefore. Or there's something in which the crown stops me from doing that I would normally that I would want to be able to do, and so I'm like, fuck you. I'm gonna take this throne.
Nice. I love it. And so I've added the claim of Heyotes to the story list. It does say may, so I guess you could choose not to, but I think it's more interesting if you do.
Nice.
Right.
Well, I am subject to a prophecy.
Ooh.
You may add the prophecy of X to the story list. I reckon my prophecy, again, if we're tying all this to the 30s, then my prophecy would be something like, you are like bound to give birth to like the monster that will end the world or something.
Nice. Yeah. So in the timeline, this happens first, then it goes this.
Yeah, so prophecy obviously is first.
Yeah.
We then
You say
realize
something.
I birthed the
monster
person
to
who-
end the world.
the world ender.
Is that not me?
Well, that would be.
Yeah.
Well, we think it's you, so that's why we put the crown behind you, so you can't end the world.
Yes.
But maybe it's not. Maybe there's a plot twist later. I don't know.
Maybe I'm not the hero of ages.
Yes, I was the good guy all along.
Alright. Mavadni has, you may be summoned in part by mortals in a time of great need.
Oh yeah.
You can add the calling of Mavadni to the story list, which I will do. And I'm happy to leave it open. for later as to work out what that great need is. Align the stars. This is the cosmos phase. As a group, the players work through and answer the following questions using pretty much everything we've already done as starting points and influences. First question. Which god loves mortals the most?
You, surely.
That would track.
Or
Pakar.
Alternatively, I am obsessive with them. But actually, you could see that as loves them the I don't know. I'm thinking that I like messing with humans for fun. So does that mean that I love them or hate them?
I think probably I'm more on the side of like choose Pakar because they're the eternal opposite to you as god of death and monsters. And so if there's one god that's like, no, but the homies, like I have to protect them.
I mean, I could love them by giving them hoods, but giving them a chance to finish their unfinished business.
That is true.
Yeah,
And
you want them to live a life of purpose.
allowing them to become heroes
Loving
by
that.
giving
Mhm.
the monsters.
I give you monsters because I love you.
Killing you. No, I definitely don't think I'm the one that loves mortals the most.
But you could. I guess it depends, like what your approach to death is. Are you stingy with who gets to pass through, or are you like?
Stingy with
Do
who
you
gets to
actually
live.
care whether people have lived a fulfilling life?
I think I
Or you
genuinely
gatekeeping?
like, kind of like in the same way that Hades has the responsibility of the underworld. Like, I think it's a responsibility that maybe they don't like all that much, so they probably at times are a bit like, yeah, haha, you can go back as a ghost. But no, I think they genuinely, if people have like fulfilling lives. Yeah,
My vote's still for Pakar.
yeah, I reckon it's Bakar.
Loves mortals the most.
Wants to give them a place free of monsters and flowing with milk and honey and no demon rabbits and anyway.
Which then flows into the next question. Which god loves them the least? Which is difficult because I think we all have a case for why we like mortals. And so it's now just a query of like who likes them the least.
Well, do you give them these drug rabbits because you love them or because you hate them?
Well, see, okay. What I
Or for Telals.
Yeah, I think it's more of to lulls because I think that I would be bored without humans, so I don't necessarily like hate them. But like, just because you hurt someone repeatedly, does that mean that you don't love them?
But also, like on the scale of things, if you hurt someone repeatedly, which is something that you two share in a sense with the monsters. And if you were originally birthed as a monster, you were a tool of that hurt or challenge once upon a time. I'd say like if we were trying to determine who loves them the least, I think that's still like a marker against you as opposed to for you, that you hurt / mess with them, even if they are essential to you.
Well, humans are essential to every monster. But
it's true.
Yeah, I guess the difficulty is like deciding, do you decide that based on my behavior or my feelings? Because my behavior is I hate humans, but my feelings are like I love them and I couldn't live without them.
Truth.
Or I love them because I couldn't live without them. Or no, maybe it's just I couldn't live without them.
You suggested earlier that you made the monsters or you birthed the monsters for the purpose of getting more death happening to flow through. Is that still accurate?
Well, the monsters are birthed because of what humanity has done. So it's almost like, oh, hey, I have no control over this. You did this horrible thing. Here's this horrible thing back at you.
So it's a punishment?
I guess so. Yeah. But it is an opportunity for heroes to emerge. Because Hercules wouldn't be Hercules if he didn't have to fight a bunch of
It's true.
alien lions and things. So
Well,
I feel like I bring the balance.
yes. Okay. This goddess, Mavadni, nothing on here necessarily has suggested that she is an outpouring of love and affection for people. She could very much be kind of like a bit high and mighty. Like, she's popular because she is like light-coded and brings hope. But nothing...
She also makes people almost die
and
to have their
debts,
dreams,
and
she
so it's
holds
kind of
their
like
debts accountable.
so she could be quite a cold deity if she wanted to be.
Does she make it so that humans have to have this near-death experience to like gatekeep her gifts? Like, does she not really want humans to have them, but like she kind of has to offer it in some way, and so reluctantly they must experience incredible trauma to get even a glimpse of her power.
I think actually the way it probably works is the whole prophetic dreams business is probably not supposed to happen. It's probably not in the design. It's probably a weird interaction between dreams, which are normally my domain, and death. So it's kind of like the bleeding over. If everything was working well, I could give kind of like messages in dreams, but I probably wouldn't allow mortals to see the future. It's just that they're kind of gaming the system by like flying too close to death, to in a similar way to eating the rabbits. They've discovered, okay, this thing gives us increased intellect or increased insight, and we're going to keep doing that.
Also, could you have initially loved humans, but mortals, but then over time come to dislike them because once my whole rabbit thing was introduced, there is such a like, would you rather eat a rabbit heart and like have some kind of divine inspiration, or nearly die and have some kind of prophetic dream?
I like that.
And then you got annoyed that mortals didn't want to go your route anymore, and so you got...
I've grown disenfranchised
Yeah.
with mortality. I like it as well because I can link that through to the greatly desiring the wealth. If it's all of the great heroes of old, they have all these things like, I desire like not just the stuff, but I desire what they represent. Like a time when heroes stood up to monsters, a time when mortals were mortals and dreamed of great things. Whereas now there are just these adult masses.
Yeah.
Yes, all your worshippers are becoming addicts.
Yeah.
To the wrong god. So yes, you would love them the least, I reckon.
Yeah. At least, yeah, at this moment. All right. What is the divine courtroom / palace of the gods like?
So what's our Olympus like?
Yeah. Evidently, like, your museum could either be there, or it could be kind of like your own separate place.
Sure, I think it's my own separate place. Because I don't think we'd want the dead to pop up in our, like, place of meeting with, like, all the gods.
It's true.
Would I live there?
Well, you are ascended, so we brought you up to be a full member of the Pantheon.
I'm wondering if I would walk around and pretend like it's mine and no one else's, because I have this crown and I'm the god of royalty. I'm trying to kick everyone out of my house.
And if we're doing the harken back to like there was a world before, like the forest overgrew everything. There's potentially this sense of like the divine realm is still in balance. And so there's like the grand old structure. It's the pillars and the what have you, and the forest is in the distance. But it isn't
The forest is slowly encroaching.
Yeah. But it's not fully reflective of the world below. Maybe it's like a little bit ruinous, like it's falling apart in places because the nature of the relationship between the mortal and the divine is changing. And you're wanting to like, I'm going to run this city, like have like you still sitting there on your thrones thinking that you run the show. No. Like I'm the new generation, baby.
What actually is the heavenly throne?
It's a good question. What is the heavenly throne?
We just decide that. Okay, now that you've put the idea of multiple thrones in my mind, I'm thinking of a room filled with thrones, but there's like obviously one in the center that's just like made of solid gold or some kind of thing. But I don't know who would sit in that in the moment. Like, can anyone go and sit in it, or is it kind of like a sword and a stone thing? Like, it will repel you until you've earned it. And so I just spend my days being like, let me in! It's mine!
I'd almost put, once again, Picard as like
our Zeus.
Yeah, and like obviously like a clause retracted Zeus, given that they're like a minor god in the stories to come, so like they're less interventionist. But if you've got like the primordial, like she's a good force in the world. She promises peace and security. She has a kind of a handshake agreement with the god of death and monsters to keep death and monsters at bay in her promised lands. That's like the good god on the throne, but one who could be overthrown because you have a claim through some prophecy back end kind of dealing that potentially you take the throne at some point.
Maybe you're like getting more worshippers than Akara is. Because the more addicts
Ooh,
you have,
yes.
like
Does the level of worship that you receive affect how powerful you are?
Yeah, is it Tinkerbell rules?
Because in which case, that would give me
Yeah, increasing authority.
an ability to actually go for the throne.
and maybe the crown stops you from getting up, sitting on the throne.
Yes.
Like the crown is repelling you from sitting on the throne. The one thing that would like actually make sense for you to sit on a throne is stopping you from sitting on this throne.
You're only allowed one symbol of royalty. You can't have throne and crown. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like this.
It's almost like we gave you the crown to placate you. Yes, you're the king now. Yes, you're.
And then it's just and they're just constantly like claw. I've got this bald patch around the crown.
Is there a particular bridge or link between the mortal and the divine worlds? So this is like Rainbow Bridge.
I mean, I'm kind of imagining that I probably hang out more in the mortal realm.
Mm-hmm. I think potentially like if dreams and close to death, etc., giving prophecies, etc. I think potentially through some form of dream realm is like the way to go upstairs potentially. Like when your soul leaves, both in when you're dreaming and when you die. That's when you're. So it's a proper like spiritual, physical connection, and so you exist. Probably a bit in both. Like your ascension is like, no, you have a presence in the spiritual plane, but you can also be physically amongst the people.
That makes sense, that the ghosts of their souls being sent back.
Yes. And this question already has an easy answer. In many stories, there is a trickster or troublemaker god who can be easily blamed for things going wrong. Who often comes up with schemes to get ahead. Who is this character at your table? I wonder.
It's clearly Bakar.
Excellent. Okay, story phase time. Your gods will have many stories told about them. These stories will form a mythology. Just like any good mythology, some of the tales that will be told are true, but not all of them. Fiction and reality, religion, early natural sciences, legal frameworks, moral teachings, they all meld together in these stories, and the gods are merely the cast used to populate the scenes. The next page details the Genesis phase. It's an optional phase. I reckon we do it, but players should aim to move through it quickly. Sharing ideas during a story isn't wrong, but players are encouraged to wait until the current storyteller asks for help before sharing. So if you're currently the storyteller, then you can expect not to have other people butt in until you ask for, ooh, I'm stuck. Players should aim to respect and build on each other's ideas and not block or countermand suggestions immediately. Each player has the right to question decisions made about their own character, but unless the decision is really undesirable, players should look for every opportunity to accept and integrate new ideas and directions.
Classic yes and.
Yes anding. Right, Genesis phase. This stage is completely optional, so we wanted to, we could skip by. But effectively it's how were we made and what was made at the same time as us when we came into existence. As a table, players work out the order of the gods' creation, the oldest to the youngest of the divine characters. This can include minor gods, making guesses or randomizing when things are unclear. Then write down the order, as this will become the order of play for step 2.
You're obviously at the end of
Yes.
the order of creation.
Yeah, you're...
Because you can't come before me.
and you are the eternal opposite to Pakar.
We could have been at the same time.
Yes, yeah. And I am Pakar's sister, and so potentially younger sister, in this case, if Pakar's on the throne. So in this case, if you two are simultaneous, I come after that, and then you are last. That would be the order.
Yes.
Causes and alongside. In the order, players expand slightly on the origin of the gods and that of the world below. Players draw cards during this phase in order to help their origin story unfold. If a player's god doesn't have an understood origin, then they draw and consult the cause column of the table in order to discover how they came to be. They then proceed to the next dot point, because you then draw a card and consult the alongside. So this is something that was made at the same time as you. This indicates something that was created roughly at the same time, or was created by that character soon after their own creation. Okay, so if you are first-ish alongside Pakar,
I came to be because of a clash of primordial elements, which makes sense.
yes, I think so.
Because death and life
Mm-hmm.
clashed together.
Excellent work. And then, what was made alongside you?
Is it the same one or do I draw?
No, draw a new card.
An aspect of culture, music, language, or royalty. Well, I mean, the idea of mortality and death
Yep.
came into being, so that became, life started to have value as part of culture.
Could I also suggest that maybe even the concept of having a purpose? So
Yes.
So like maybe certain like animals don't have that purpose, whereas like the aspect of culture was like, no, we are put here for a reason. We have a job to do.
Yes. What is my life's purpose?
You came about at the same time as, or did you make purpose?
Yeah, I like to think I made purpose.
Nice. Yeah. So it's kind of like Morrisillan hands out a purpose at the start of your life, and you need to fulfill it. Otherwise, you'll be sent back to it more. I came about through also a clash of primordial elements. So in this respect, then I think taking that concept of hope again, I think it's kind of like almost keying off that purpose being added to mortals' lives. The idea of like hopes and dreams and planning ahead, envisioning success, etc. Like it's almost like mortals manifested Mavadni, a god of illusions and magic and dreams, as a way of being like, we can see ourselves being successful, and because we can dream that, maybe there's a force responsible. But at the same time, a culture or tribe of mortals. I'm going to say with the whole debts thing, like came about with like the first instance of like big city civilization, like the when we've moved out of moving around in tribes, like the Athens, like when the first big city came to be, this god became like canonized, and so therefore came to being. And we know you ascended, and we know you were birthed by, so we already know where you come from.
So I just need an alongside.
You just need an alongside.
So what happened when I birthed you?
An aspect of culture, music, language, royalty, etc.
Mm-hmm.
I did create drug culture.
Addiction.
You are also the god of royalty.
I am also the god of royalty. I don't really know beyond posturing though how that actually plays into anything at this point.
Mm-hmm. Cool, that's fine. So yeah, addiction. Yeah. The addiction at the hearts of mortals came into being at the same time as you.
I'm so proud.
Was this your purpose today?
Oh, when you die, we'll find out.
Okay. Next page, the story list. The first step is to check and populate the story list, which will be a list of 6 or more titles that can be chosen to expand it on. If the story list doesn't already contain at least 6, players draw cards and consult titles below, adding these titles to the story list until it contains 6.
We just need one more.
One more is the king. So, the curse of knowledge. Nice. A curse of knowledge, which works well for
With the prophecy.
with prophecy, eating hearts for insight, or like prophetic dreams. So any of them could key well with that curse of knowledge.
Humanity with knowledge.
All right, expanding the myths. So taking turns going around the table, each player is going to select one title from the list and select one of the following options, deciding randomly if they like, drawing a card if you want. These options are different depths or different styles you could use to tell the story. If you want a smaller role to tell a smaller story, the 2 red card options, so the Sage or the Elder, are smaller styles, whereas Priest and Orator are longer storytelling styles. Or we can randomize. In this case, for some of them, it'll just be you. So I think for the 2 red ones, say for instance, if I chose to tell the prophecy of Morrisillan with Sage rules, it would all be up to me. Like effectively I would do some card draws, but the rules would give me kind of complete storyteller power. Whereas for Priest and Orator, we start telling chapters around the table, so we kind of do more of a collaborative, longer story experience for that title. We're each going to do one, and then once we're done, we will get to collaboratively tell the grand tale at the end. So we'll each get like 3 little stories and then one big honking story at the end.
Probably the prophecy
Yep, the prophecy.
that I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like as a priest,
Perfect.
because they're talking at the end of theirs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this story will include your god in a large capacity, obviously.
Obvious.
Draw a card and consult the priest column of the next table on page 43.
2. This story has a child-friendly bedtime story version. Now kids.
You become the first storyteller in a 4-act story. You must include your god in a key role. So, here's how this will work if we flip over to...
So we should try to pick these in the order that we think we should tell them? Is
No,
that
not necessarily.
Oh.
So, multi-act stories. If you have a look at page 45. If a player drew or selected the role of priest or orator, they're telling a multi-act story. Storytelling in this style is broken into acts, and every time a new act starts, the turn moves to the next player. So there'll be 4 turns. If a player doesn't want to participate, then they can just pass. If we all end up passing in the middle of a story, nobody actually knows how that story ends. So it just
Nice.
as faded in antiquity. Players can either tell the story aloud, normally in 3rd person, or just answer the questions associated with each act. So there's some prompt questions. But it's up to you as to whether you want to tell some story or whether you just want to answer questions. They both do the job. Players may draw a card and consult the table that corresponds to their particular act, but may choose to deny the prompt if they don't like it after drawing. Cards should be set aside and should not be shuffled back into the deck. So, you are Act 1. Here, which 3 characters will be most important in this story, and then what problem starts the story, what tragedy, complication, or scheme, and you could use the Act 1 draw table.
And I'm telling this like it's a kid's story.
Or this story has a bedtime variant. Whether
No. We gotta tell it like we're talking kids.
Okay,
It's gonna be
great.
much funnier. Now, children. As you're tucking yourselves in to bed tonight, I'm going to tell you a story. A story of our origins, where the world came from and where the world is going. In the beginning, yes, there was Bakar, the god of the promised lands. and because his goal for us was to find something perfect, for us to live forever in this beautiful place of plenty, there had to be a balance.
Ooh.
There had to be someone who rivaled him. And so, the goddess Morrisillan came to be.
Ooh, Morrisillan's scary.
Morrisillan is very scary. But if we think about it, Morrisillan gave us this sense of purpose. We have to strive to figure out what we want to do with our lives and try to achieve it before we die. Now, when Morrisillan came to be, she saw people and she saw the way they acted, and some of the things they did were very good and very good for society. Some of the things they did were very bad. Very bad. And because she is not just the goddess of death, but she's also the goddess of monsters, she had to send forth the first monster. Now the people at this point had started to have dreams because the goddess Mavadre, is that it?
Mavadni.
Mavad, oh my gosh, way
No.
off. That's
okay,
an
that's
N,
an
not an
N.
E.
That's okay.
Mavadni. Apologies. It's a problem with oral stories.
Yeah.
Okay, well, stopped over the generation. Mavadni was giving people dreams. And so, the first monster, of course, was the Dream Eater. He would come to those having good dreams and he would take those good dreams and turn them into bad dreams, into nightmares. So whenever you have a scary nightmare, it's because the Dream Eaters are taking your good dreams and turning them into bad dreams, which meant you were always meant to have good dreams to begin with. So when you have a nightmare, remember that in actual fact, you're meant to be having a good dream.
Nice.
But when she birthed this first monster, something terrible happened. Within her own head, she heard a prophecy. And the prophecy told her that she had become the mother of monsters, and one day she would birth a monster that would destroy the world.
Whoa. That's crazy.
Now that hasn't happened yet. It's not going to happen tonight while you're asleep, safe in your beds. But one day soon, when we have no more heroes to fight for us, there will be a monster that comes and will end the world.
Wow.
That is Act 1.
So that's the problem that starts the story, in this case, the prophecy and the birth of the Dream Eaters. Okay, so Act 2, which is over to me. What plan is formed, including the characters, to solve the problem? And then how does the plan commence? Does the first stage succeed or fail? You may draw a card to determine the success or failure. I'm going to say that as the Dream Eaters spread and changed the dreams of those who were lying in their beds asleep, Mavadni, goddess of dreams, rose to the defense. Mavadni is the one who fights Dream Eaters. Other monsters we can see, other monsters we know. Dream Eaters exist elsewhere, far beyond, in the depths of our own dreams and minds. Mavadni established an order of dream monks who would leave their own bodies to fight these monsters in places that are unseen, in the depths of their own minds. Which is why today we have the monks on the hill. They fight the nightmare beings that threaten our own dreams. I'm going to draw a card to see whether they are successful. Start to fail. This is the first stage. Succeed or fail. Red meaning success, black meaning failure. Failure. But the monks, they were not strong enough.
Oh no.
The Dream Eaters have grown too powerful. The mother of monsters so powerful in her darkness that even when we fought back in our dreams, we could not push back that darkness. Over to you for Act 3, my friend. Alright, how does the plan conclude? Does the last stage succeed or fail? You can draw a card to determine. And then what are the immediate consequences of the success or failure? And there is an Act 3 draw table if you want a prompt.
What is the overarching story of this? Which one?
So this is the prophecy that I get, that I'm going to birth something that will end the world.
Okay.
and kind of like the narrative around that, which appears to be around the Dream Eaters at the moment, but could come
Well, that
back.
was the first monster that
Yeah.
I birthed, was the night, like the Dream Eaters. And so people have been trying to fight back against the monsters. So, I don't know, I guess the next part of the story would be, do I keep making monsters if one of the monsters is going to end the world?
Can I pass?
Yes, of course you can pass.
Yeah.
Pass. In which case, then you are taking Act 3
Act 3.
responsibilities.
How does the plan conclude? Does the last stage succeed or fail? Okay. Throughout the many thousands of years, Morrisillan kept birthing new monsters. We've heard about these in some of our stories. The big sea serpents that our heroes have slain, the big lions that live in the forest that once again our heroes have slain. So she kept making these challenges for people to overcome. And every time she made a new monster, she worried, is this the monster that is going to end the world? She became so worried that part of her stopped making monsters for a while. And we lived in this peaceful time of plenty. But, as always, there must be a balance. So when things grew too rich and too wonderful, she gave birth once again. And this was to another monster. And the monster's name was Hertes. Now, Hertes was born a monster, but we know that Hertes is a god. But they didn't start as a god. They started, and that was combated by lots of people. Lots of people thought, how can they fight this new monster, Hertes? Can they throw spears at it? No, that did not work. Can they fire bows and arrows at it? No, it did not work. Could they burn it with fire? No, this was a new kind of monster. And so people feared, was Hertes the monster that could end the world? Because they couldn't fight it. And then Morrisillan, she did something very smart. She thought, and she planned with all the other gods, if it's a monster that ends the world, it can't be a god that ends the world. And so,
Clever.
they decided to make Hertes into a goddess. Therefore, she wasn't a monster anymore. Now, would that get around the prophecy? We still don't know. That's Act 3.
Awesome. And so the immediate consequences we've already discussed with the birth of Hertes. And so over to me for Act 4, what are the long-term consequences of these events
Addiction.
on the gods? What are the long-term consequences of this story being told to and by mortal worshippers?
How do you put the kids to bed at the end of the story?
Yeah.
Actually, also with the forest thing, because that wasn't within my domain until after I became a god.
It's true. Yeah. So I think the long-term consequences are obviously that the raising of Heotis, so we're kind of blending it with the ascension a little bit, but the long-term, like the raising has meant that Heotis is no longer the monster that's like going out themselves and hurting people. So it's not like Heotis is like the demon of the woods that's like got claws and stuff anymore. Instead, Heotis is still a monster, but now is like divinely empowered, and so is like completely changing the face of the world's ecosystems, completely changing how the hearts of mortals towards the hunting of the divine beast, etc. And so like your monstrousness hasn't gone, it's just like the tools at your disposal unfortunately have widened by the fact that you were raised. And what are the long-term consequences of this story being told to and by mortal worshippers? And so you see, children, we live in a dark time. But remember that the gods have a plan. The gods are working right now to make sure that monster does not do what the prophecy suggested. Everyone, even the mother of monsters, is working for the good of us. So remember and trust. Just like the dream monks, the gods are working unseen, but for our good. And so we will one day push through this and to the promised lands that Picard has promised us. Cool.
And go to sleep.
Yeah. Sleep now. Maybe you can dream of the promised lands while you're asleep. Sleep! I'm going to randomly pick one of these. I've got a heart, so Elder. This story, the one I pick, will teach a moral lesson or reinforce a rule. So have a look, consult the Elder column of the table next. I drew a 10. Okay, it is the moral or virtue in this case. Oh, hey, kitten.
Hi. Want to hear a story?
Of originality or uniqueness. Briefly suggest how some event in your story is linked to the moral, using the title and the moral as your prompt.
Oh.
Just taking this, my boy. I'm sorry. I love you. Okay. I'm going to say the claim of Heiotes is the one that links to this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just suggesting, I only have to suggest kind of like how an event in the story links to uniqueness or originality. And I think there's the sense of like the elder pointing out. Now Heiotes has a claim on the divine throne, not by blood necessarily, as our rulers often do, but instead because they represent the new world. They are the new expression. If we look around, we see that our world is so changed by them, so under their rule and authority already, that for them to claim the divine throne is merely a recognition of what is already true. That they are unique among the gods, the only one raised from monster to goddess, and one who now has all of us in some way in her sway. This shows the power of being both the first, but also an understanding that all of us, any of us, could rise from any depth to any height. Monster to goddess is, yes, a dark tale, but one that could be inspiring to so many. If the worst can rise that far and be recognized to potentially even sit on the divine throne one day, so can any of us. So don't look down on your fellow person, because you may be looking at someone truly great in a few years' time. And that's the kind of what gets told around the claim of Heiotes linked to that.
That's cool. I like that link.
All right. And what kind of story would you like to tell?
I am intimidated by storytelling. I've never been very good at it.
That's okay. My advice
Like
is
the
then,
planning.
I would then advise you to go with either Sage or Elder. Like I did there with Elder, you could just, instead of telling the story like I did, you just be like, okay, well, the claim of Heiotes, like the reason why they have a claim on the mortal throne is because they're unique among the gods. That's why, and that's how it links to uniqueness.
Okay.
And that could be all you need to do.
Okay. It's definitely the performative aspect that I get most into. What I would pick either Sage or Elder. Whichever one comes first.
Sage. Okay. Draw until you find a red card. And then consult the Act 3 table on page 51. This is a serious outcome for this story. Someone now has a new level of authority. Is the conclusion of the story. And it says, briefly suggest how this outcome came to pass after choosing a title.
There's also a typo there. In case
Yes.
you want to know.
Yeah. There's Page 41 is rife for typos, which I have known in the past. But
So, I suppose the ascension.
Yep.
would
Perfect.
be someone now has a new level of authority.
Mhm.
So in the prophecy, we had it that Heiotes was created and ascended to a god to mitigate the damage that Hades was doing to the world. Because, wait, what was the reason that you came up with for?
Well, it's that if you were a god, then you were no longer a monster. So, and the prophecy is that a monster would end the world.
Yeah,
Okay.
just trying to get around the wording of prophecy.
Yes. Okay. So that like deals with it. That's like the whole story.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So, yeah.
That's it. Ascended to a god to avoid the constraints of a potentially disastrous prophecy.
Sweet. And they're the stories, the three minor ones that get told around the campfires. We get told about the prophecy. We get told about kind of the ascension in passing of the whole ascension was for the purpose of getting around the prophecy and why you have it playing. So once again, still very main character energy for you.
Yeah.
So it's all kind of like a prophecy about you, the fact that you were risen because of a fear of you, of all things. Like you got into godhood because we were freaked out by you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, crest of the mountain, the Grand Tale. The Grand Tale is the ultimate moment in this new pantheon's history and has the following qualities. It takes place after, chronologically, all the stories the players have already told. So you're ascended, you're bound to the crown, at least. Everything by now. It will involve all the gods as important characters, assuming they still exist. We'll mention important aspects created during the previous stories. It will represent the greatest or the final challenge experienced by these gods. Grand Tale will be told by everyone, uses a different order of play. Style of story. Players draw cards until they reveal a black card. If the card is a face card or an ace, then the Grand Tale is about the end of everything. But if it's a number card, which it is, the story is about some other titanic struggle. Draw 3 more cards. Consult the Act 1 draw table on page 47. All of these problems occur at the start of the story and are connected in some way. Treat all mentions of mortals as though they are referring to gods instead.
So Act 1.
Act 1, yep.
Okay. The design. Wait, black card? No, that's a.
So they're all red.
Ah, so there's a 4. There's
two
2
fours.
4s. So this happens twice. A foolhardy god is about to mature and come into their power. So there are 2 foolhardy gods that are about to mature and come into their power.
Mm-hmm.
And war has engulfed the mortal world.
Great.
Well, thematically consistent.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very good. We haven't had like a war yet. Everything's been kind of like, you know, we're struggling with like the drug addiction and the.
Well, that's
the
what I
prophecies.
was thinking. Like, you can have a war on addiction. It
Mm.
doesn't necessarily have to be between tribes or something.
That is true. And I love the with the 2 foolhardy gods are about to mature and come into their power. You obviously,
Yeah.
but also I think if I throw back to something you said at the very very start, a demigod is on the throne.
Oh, true. I forgot about that. I think I was just thinking of myself as the demigod.
Yeah,
I've definitely classed Hades as being like not really a full-fledged god. It's
Mm.
kind of spoken down to a lot.
You are the problem.
Yeah. Black sheep of the family. It's okay.
Okay. Step 2, a climactic moment. Players draw cards until they reveal a red card and consult the Act 3 draw table.
You did. I already had a red card. Oh no, sorry. My bad. I thought that was a heart.
It's okay. Act 3. Someone important to the story becomes powerless.
Ooh.
This will happen sometime during the Grand Tale and not at the end. So at one point during the Grand Tale, someone important to the story will lose their power. Hectic.
I mean, we haven't really talked about what the crown does to me. at
It's
this
true.
point.
How it neuters. Well, at the very least, we've kind of we had the suggestion that it somehow keeps you from taking the divine throne in some way. Okay, draw hands. Each player draws a card and holds it face down. This is their hand. They'll play a card from it each time the turn comes to them. Telling the tale. The player who was the first storyteller will start, and then play proceeds around the table. On a player's turn, they choose one of the following. Play their card face down and just tell a continuation scene, chunk, chapter of the story that's already been started, or play it face up and consult the grand table, which is on the next pages, and integrating the prompt you find there. These will normally add new elements to the situation. When the last player plays the last card, the story should either already be over, or the table then decides what the final outcomes of the current story threads should be. So, two foolhardy gods about to come into their power. War in the mortal realm. At some point in the story, someone is going to become powerless. And there are more prompts to add if you don't have a good idea for how you would like to continue things on your turn.
So if I flip this bad boy over, which table do I look at?
The one just over the page, on page 55 and 56.
So the Act 3 one.
No, page 55 and 56 has its own. So
Oh,
the grand tale.
the grand tale. My apologies. Okay. Well, the ruler sitting on the throne of the mortals, as we said, is a demigod. And he is the son of Picard.
Yeah, I figured that's where we're going.
And
Damn it, Picard!
and he is obviously he has lots of Picard's kind of ideologies of promised land and of things being perfect. And he's currently ruling a kingdom that is addicted to the high they get from these rabbits. But when he was born, a prophecy was also made about him.
Oh, nice.
And the prophecy was that he would destroy the world's biggest monster.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
he's the fated slayer.
Yeah. And so Picard argued with the gods to petition for her son to become a god, to become the god of heroes.
Nice.
Because they needed heroes to fight this plague of addiction that was swarming the land. It was becoming a problem. So they wanted to create basically like an army of heroes to fight the army of addicts to bring balance to the mortal world again.
Nice.
And obviously Heotis didn't agree. Because Heotis just said, there's no problem with my rabbits are great. People love my rabbits.
People chasing the rabbit.
But the other guys did agree with Picard that the rabbits were becoming a problem. And that perhaps this demigod's prophecy would save Morrisillan from her prophecy that the monster she birthed was going to end the world.
Prophecy be prophecy.
Prophecy be prophecy. So, they raised Picard's son, who I still haven't given a name to. Let's go to the names table. Where are the names? Is that mine order? Okay, here we go. Q. That's a diamond. And they've got got heroes. So Huston.
Huston?
Huston.
Huston!
Huston.
King Huston!
King Huston. Now God Huston,
Nice.
the god of heroes, was able to bring about an army of heroes from amongst the mortals to wage war on the addicts.
And we'll see how that turns out, I guess.
Yeah, so we had a god come to the power into their power,
Very good.
and we have a war happening as well.
Well done.
And I won't play mine just yet because mine works nicely for the end.
Okay. Sweet.
So part of Huston's prophecy
Yum.
is that the foe must be duelled, but the winner will bear a scar. So he will potentially save the world, but he will be deeply scarred in some way afterwards.
Nice.
That ties into his prophecy.
So says the prophecy. Nice. Okay. I will flip. A friend becomes an enemy, or an enemy becomes a friend.
Ooh.
Interesting. In the meeting of the gods that agreed that we should raise Hastan to godhood, and therefore send an entire army of heroes against you and your followers, there's obviously tension at that meeting because particularly for we three gods, that not everything is kind of hunky-dory between everyone. There is the alliance that was kind of between you and Pakar. During the meeting, effectively, there's a moment where Morrisillan and Pakar have an aside, and they're like, "This, if the prophecy comes to pass, Heotis will end the world. Like, this is a world-ending threat. How do we work together, if possible, to get this done? Because like normally we're at least kind of on either side of the aisle, not like fully adversaries, but like we work separately. How could we possibly work together to increase these things?" I think we pan away from that aside, so like that conversation was raised, and head down to like a big battle on the world below. These heroes that are raised kind of in the image of their now raised god of heroes, Hastan. We're thinking kind of like resplendent armor and the big flowy capes, etc. Versus effectively like these ravenous hordes of like blood dripping from mouths, like the hunters, but like spaced out with like the wild hair and like the insanity of the unhinged humanity versus like civilized kind of knightly humanity. And I think the heroes are losing. There's just too many. There's too many, and like the addiction that was born at the same time as Heotis is so strong that the lack of self-preservation instinct on behalf of the addicts is just overwhelming the heroic forces, until there is like a great trumpet blast from somewhere, and every single ghost that currently exists, like their purpose reworked to be like, your purpose is now save the world. Like that's your purpose now. Everyone who like participates in this fight, very like Crusades wise, but everyone who participates here gets to come to the afterlife.
Gets
like,
their hoodie.
Yeah, you earn your hood on this battlefield.
Yes.
And so like the forces of the dead, very Lord of the Rings style, pour forth and like turn the tide. And so it's these the forces of Heotis versus heroes and the ghosts of those who have passed, who are trying to ascend. And in that respect, you two who were once enemies are becoming like friends on the same side of the fight, at least in this moment.
We still haven't had someone else come into their godhood yet.
Well, I think to set it up a little bit, at least you'll have the opportunity to finish the story. I reckon with this foolhardiness, because you operate both in the divine and in the mortal world, you're on the battlefield. Like you're like taking names.
Yeah.
I think anything.
Which actually, sorry, this one is. Wait, what is this card?
So that's also a foolhardy god is going to come into their power.
Okay, actually, I know what I'm doing with this.
Right, if you want to take it over, go for gold.
I do. Okay, so this happens. All of the ghosts are on the field. Like the tide is turning a little bit, and Hades gets incredibly angry about it, and because this card is a god takes drastic action fueled by anger, passion, or insanity. Makes sense?
Nice.
And so I am on the battlefield. Hades is on the battlefield and seeks out Huston.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huston is decked out in all of his like heavenly armor. He is not necessarily all that good at combat. He's more of, posturing and like energetically powerful, but his armor is very important and he's a decent fighter. And so they battle, but Hades is fueled by the 10 fresh rabbit hearts he just ate. And manages to what's the word for overwhelm Huston. and grabs his sword and shoves it between his head and the signet and twists, and it breaks.
Nice.
And so he has freed himself from this stupid crown that was forced upon him. And with the crown broken, he suddenly has access to all his old power, or all his original power, and just absolutely rages and unleashes to the point where a lot of the heroes start to get a bit twitchy, you know, they're feeling the effects of the addiction that they've never touched, and that's happening. The war is still going, and Hades then goes towards the palace of the gods to take his seat on the throne.
Nice.
And doom the world.
Perfect. I think it's a fine enough ending as well.
Austin did not save the
No!
world. His prophecy did not come to me.
Perfect.
And so that was this. He comes to his power.
You gave Hurston a big scar.
Yes.
I didn't actually say whether I killed him. I just stole his sword.
I don't, that would be a big deal if you had killed him, but at the very least, if you don't kill him, that means that we don't have to answer the question can a god die, and what happens after
because
that.
Hurston could come back many years later and defeat you later.
Because I was also thinking, I was either Hades takes the sword and rips his own crown off, or he enters this battle without any armor and just waits for dodges, ducks, whatever. Huston goes to swing, and Hades actually just ducks under this to be hit by the sword, so that it then cracks, and he's
I love the idea that nothing could get your crown off, with the exception of a divine blade.
Yeah.
So you have to wait for a god to attack you to be like, ah, I get the trick now.
Yeah.
And so self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So you were going to take over the world, our attempt to foil you actually causes your capability to take over the world.
Yes.
Nice.
As is the way. You always try to escape prophecy.
And so the trees continue to grow, and the addict horde festers, and the warrens are filled with people rather than rabbits.
Oh. What a metal way to end. The warrens are filled with people instead of rabbits. Alright, I'm looking at page 58, the end. At the end, the players should have a pantheon of new gods, a series of stories about them, including a grand tale. This is where the Court of Cloud system stops, but it does not need to be where these gods and their stories end. Some ideas include the next Court of Cloud session could add on to this one, either through more stories, skipping character creation, or through adding more characters. If the players... we don't have to read that one, because we didn't tell an apocalypse tale.
Did we not?
Well, yeah.
Did we not?
I think we evolved into an apocalypse story, but it's interesting because people still exist, the world still exists, the gods still live. So it is the big grand titanic struggle of the time, but it's not Ragnarok. You could use your pantheon as a series of gods for an RPG campaign or other fantastical setting, or take one of the stories told and develop it out into a written or spoken tale. And that is a game of Court of Clouds.
That was epic.
Thank you. And so we ended up with 4, I guess 5, if we count Hastan at the end, gods in our court. And a really, really elaborate rise for you. Great. Well, thank you so much for helping playtest. And if you guys have any thoughts as to ways it can be improved, just sling me a message and let me know. But it's been really fun.